Welcome to day 3 in this 5-part series on creating a specific or go-to yoga class for your ideal audience. So if you have not watched days 1 and 2 or parts 1 and 2, please go through those first. So you've got to discover your yoga niche or your teaching topic. It's more of an encompassing, I teach yoga to this specific audience. And then you've got to discover the pain points for the audience and for the style that you teach. So come up with that, do that first, and then we're going to create a class name for the class that we're going to create tomorrow. So a class name is more specific than your teaching topic. It includes your teaching topic plus something that you're working on that day. My example that I've been going with for these 3 days is yoga for hikers. I've already got two of the items here so far. So I've got yoga for hikers, and I could get more specific with the style if I wanted to. If the class for some reason was a yin yoga class or a power yoga class or a flow yoga class. So it can be a little more specific than just yoga because there's many different styles, as hopefully we all know. So you can get more specific here. So I'm going to say this is a yoga flow. So a vinyasa yoga. So that's up to you if you want to add a little bit more to that, or you just say yoga and that's it. So my audience or my topic is hikers. And for a specific class, I'm like, okay, what's one of the main things that these people have that struggle with, or what have I struggled with as a newbie hiker as I'm hiking? What have I struggled with, or what have I asked people about? What have they struggled with? I came up with hips, actually. So your hips, hip mobility and hip flexors don't feel so good. So this is the pain point that we're going to talk about, hips. And the transformation is we want our hips to feel good. We want them to go from sore or immobile to mobile and happy. So to name our class, and you don't have to actually name your class on the schedule as this, but as you walk into class and you have, hey, this is a yoga for hikers class. Today we're working on such and such. But it's just kind of fun to pick a name or pick a main theme around it. So this could be a physical pain point, or it can be emotional pain point. So you can also say for encouragement, or for gratitude, or for happiness, or for strength, for flexibility, just in general. So you can do a lot of different things. For this one, I'm going to just do the physical component of yoga for the hips in hikers. And so to name our class, you got your yoga style, your pain point, and your audience. Okay, here's a tip. Don't get too jargony or too creative here, because we want your audience to understand this. There are 2 kinds of people that are going to come to your yoga practices if you're doing something like this. Number 1, you're going to get yogis who are into hiking. So that's a little bit easier because they understand yoga. So if you do something creative, they're like, oh, that's kind of fun. Yeah, I like hiking. That's cool. But you'll also get hikers who know that they struggle with this pain point, who are like, oh, you can help me through yoga. I'm going to try that. And those are 2 different audiences. So this one is more of a beginner, and these ones are less of beginners, but tend to also like hiking, and they might be new to hiking. So maybe it's yogis interested in hiking or hikers interested in yoga. So you'll have to include in your class different elements that teach to both of those. So giving tips for hiking for the yogis and giving tips for yoga for the hikers. Okay, back to our little topic. So I want our hips to be happy. So that's going to be our theme. This is a class title / theme. My title might be something like Happy Hips Yoga for Hikers. And if you're doing a series, you could do things like Happy Shoulders Yoga for Hikers. Or maybe it's Yoga for Hikers, hip mobility, or something very simple. Again, you want this to be very specific and to what you could do for one class, so that people know exactly what they're getting into. The more that you specify what your class title is and what you're working on, the more likely you're going to find the people that need what you have to offer. And you'll probably fill your classes a little bit easier than if you were to just say, yeah, I teach yoga. everyone needs yoga. And then when you get there, there's going to be some people who can't even stand up off from the floor and need a chair for chair yoga, or there's going to be those people who are really into power yoga. So it's really hard to teach to everybody. I know this. When you teach a class, an open level class, it can be quite challenging. And eventually people learn your style and what you're all about, and so you get the audience that oftentimes is most like you. So whatever, however you got into yoga. So again, it's hard to teach yoga to everybody. Everybody is teaching to nobody. So let's get specific. Come up with a yoga style, pain point, audience. You can get more specific. I'm gonna let's get super more specific here and say it's restorative yoga for mountain hikers. So you're just adding like adjectives. Mountain hikers. So now these are like, well, this is probably enough here, restorative yoga for mountain hikers, but the class in itself, you do want to focus on one of the pain points. So this might be even your class name, and then semicolon, hip flexor healing your hip flexors. Okay, so come up with that, because this title is going to help us tomorrow as you outline your class, or in the next video. So come up with that. This is what I'm working on. This is the theme. This is the pose. This is the specific thing that we're going to do in class, and then that will help you get the rest of your class in order as I give you a 10-step outline. Got it? Okay, so do this and make sure it's there, and you can leave a comment wherever this video you're finding this video, in the course on YouTube, on Facebook group, wherever, and share with me. You can always email me. Share with me what you have. I would love to see you work through this. Okay, join me for part 4 tomorrow.